Welcome to J&P's Awesomeness.
I'm Jay.
And I'm P. And on today's episode, we're going to be discussing what it took to make this podcast. Alright, so today we're going to be discussing the difficulties in making this first podcast.
Yeah, it's pretty much a month in the making because of all the ridiculous amount of setbacks we've had. It's just an insane amount of shit. It's ridiculous. Just the things that happened to us trying to do this podcast, trying to get everything set up. Unbelievable.
All right, so to get into the first one, out of what we got here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 problems, four pretty major problems that have come up just trying to get to this point. And the first one's actually probably the most when it comes to affecting the actual podcast, in terms of the fact that we ran into a microphone incident where I had a mic, and I couldn't seem to find it anywhere in my house. So we went on what was it, like an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Multiple back and forths to multiple stores.
Yeah, just trying to find a microphone. Now, we don't live in like the smallest area. It's not like a Nebraskan town or anything. But the closest decent-sized music store is probably, like a half-hour away to get to Alto's?
Oh, definitely half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that, yeah.
So, but we have 2 other music stores within like 20 minutes from here. And they didn't have anything, but we started first with just going to Walmart, just looking for a normal USB mic, and they didn't have anything, like at all. They didn't even have like the standard computer microphones. Yeah. So where would we go after that? It was what, Staples?
We went to Staples thinking, computer store. Everything to do with office supplies, equipment, anything. And no, we asked the guy that worked there, and he brought us 2 headsets with microphones on them, even though we asked specifically for a USB microphone. And just like
they didn't even have the standard computer ones. All they had was the headphone ones.
Yeah, headphones. It's like, no,
we just want a microphone. We went to that one pawn shop in Matamoros too. That it says it's a computer store, but it's like a pawn place. And I asked that guy, I was like, because they used to sell some microphones in there, and I asked him about it, and he said that they don't really sell microphones anymore, especially like USB-based ones for laptops or whatever, because they tend to, it was beautiful, because they tend to be built into laptops. But he had like 5 or 6 different types of speakers right there. I was like, but speakers are built into laptops too. So I don't know what happened to where they didn't sell them, but where we go, we went to Milford Music after that, or did we go to the other pawn shop?
We stopped. Yeah, we went to Milford Music, and for some reason, at 2:00 in the afternoon is when the store opened. We were there at 1. I've never heard of a business anywhere opening at 2:00 in the afternoon.
I think I found out it's because like they do like lessons or something later, and they don't really do too much business because them and Al's are kind of killed out by Alto's, which is 45 minutes away.
And that makes sense.
Yeah, it would make sense for them to just get more products and pull more people in rather than...
Yeah, like sell some product, make some money, instead of teaching people how to play...
That's where I got my one mic for when I was trying to sing in Dr. Death. I got the one mic there, and it was like... It's a good mic, it's just not good for this aspect. Yeah. It's not a USB mic, so I had no connecting way to put it on my laptop, but, whatever. Yeah. And then we hit the other pawn shop.
And we walked in there, and basically, the guy's like, we only deal in high-end microphones when we have them.
Yeah, when you have them.
Why didn't you just say, hey, I don't have them, instead of explaining to me that we only deal with high-end stuff? It's like...
Yeah, I guess we just look that poor.
It's like, this is such a ritzy pawn shop in this strip mall,
Yeah, we're looking like we're poor, I guess. Just walking in there like, hey, you have a microphone? USB? Pinky up?
It's like, what?
But, and then he was saying like that they... Was it that time I went with you that you said that they buy guns, or was that with somebody else that went in there for something?
That wasn't me, no.
They do a lot with buying guns now. There's like a fatter guy in there with glasses. Like, I forgot. I was looking for like something guitar related. Oh no, I was seeing if they bought amps. I was trying to get rid of my amps. What it was.
And somehow guns came.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, we don't really deal too much in like guitar amps or music equipment too much anymore. But we do like a lot of like selling and trading with guns. Like if you have anything like that, like we're definitely interested. And like we have some lying around if you want to look at them. Like I don't really like own any guns. I feel like that would like apply to you, which that's actually gonna come up later in this conversation. Actually,
yeah.
So maybe we'll make another stop in there soon. See if you can unload.
Yeah, get rid of my weaponry.
And unload in a non-violent way.
Yeah. Don't want to get into that. Don't need to be in any more trouble than I'm already in.
So then after them, what we went to Al's, the other music store in Port, right? Because that's the last place that we could think of. And no, did we go to Kmart too? We did go to Kmart too.
Oh yeah, we went to Kmart, and apparently Kmart only sells refrigerators and dryers and washing machines in there.
That's their electronics section now. Well, they did have some computer stuff, but they didn't have any like actual headphones. It was like cell phone headphones, and no microphones. And then we went to Al's.
Yeah.
And Al's had like 2 microphones out of the entire store, and neither one was USB related, so that wasn't going to work either.
And then yet somehow we got stuck in all these stores talking to somebody about how they didn't have microphones for at least 10 minutes apiece.
Yeah.
And it's very disappointing.
And nobody could ever give us a spot to go, except for all of them told us to try Altos. Even the competing smaller music stores told us to try Altos. Like, maybe that's why you're a smaller store.
Yeah.
Because you're literally telling your customers to go to the competitor.
And, we're poor and didn't want to pay for gas to drive all the way up to
No, what even that? You had something to do that day, I think. Like, you had to leave by, 2 to go meet up with somebody.
Oh, yeah, to go get my
mom. Yeah, the car.
So mom was in trouble.
Yeah, so we were on, a time limit anyway, so it's like... Driving there and back alone would be an hour without looking through mics, which it actually worked out. Now that we have this Yeti microphone by Blue.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it does sound pretty good. Hopefully you guys think so. Well, I'm still learning how to mix for podcasting, so be forgiving. But let me check what the next subject is. I think it's my car. Yep. The next subject is my car problems. I got married. It hasn't even been a full month yet, actually, and we were going to try to invest in a home or something, but we had car problems, so we decided to take the money and purchase a reliable vehicle that the brakes worked on, being as we have a child.
Yeah, don't want
to be crashing into telephone poles with Silas in the back.
No.
So we go to this dealership, and I had a couple $1,000, and there was a Chevy Tahoe there, and I like bigger trucks and SUVs and stuff like that, so... Especially with the kid, I like to have room, and if I am in another band anytime soon, it's nice to be able to just lug my stuff.
Definitely.
Or help people move, which that's the worst part about having a truck. Everyone wants you to help them with shit.
Oh yeah, you're everybody's best friend when you have a truck.
Yeah. So maybe it was a bad idea anyway. But don't worry, people, it didn't work out, which is the next problem in trying to get this podcast up and going. Because at this point, I think we'd already ordered this microphone that we're using.
Yep.
And it was supposed to get here on Friday, but it got here a day later. It got here much faster than it was supposed to. So I think at this point I had the microphone and we were trying to meet up again to do this first episode, and I just needed my car because I was constantly going back and forth with this dealership trying to purchase it, and there was all these problems trying to get it set up. They had to go get it registered, get it inspected, and they didn't have time with other stuff going on. They finally got it all done, and I had it for not even 18 hours, and
that's got to be a record.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody out there who could top it. I just don't personally know them. Personally, if I had any luck, it's bad luck. Marcus always tells me that his mom says that you should be more optimistic, and I don't think that's true. Because there's times I don't even worry about the things that happen to me. I'm like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. I try to brush it off, and then things just keep piling on that day anyway.
Yeah, it just escalates.
Yeah, and he's like, well,
bullshit.
He tried to say, the one time, maybe if I just looked at things differently, maybe it's just my mindset that makes things pile on. But then the one day, I forgot what happened. It was at work, and a few things happened. I think it was actually with the car, and some other stuff happened. And he was like, "You might actually just be right. You might just have horrible luck." So
somebody put a voodoo curse on you or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
All poking you and shit.
Yeah, whatever. At least if they poked me, it'd be a little bit of a rub instead of what did they do to my car? So within 18 hours of having the car, I'm driving. Well, my wife was driving back from my parents' house, and she said the brakes were feeling funny, but it had a weird ABS issue, so I just assumed it was that. Turns out the next day I discovered what it was when the brakes were basically gone, and I was driving this massive vehicle to work through a city. It's not a big city. It's more like a town, but it's considered a city via population.
It's got a few streets.
Yeah. It had some lights recently.
We got a train station.
There's only one horse and buggy, so it's legally a city. But she was driving back, and the check engine light came on, and she was complaining about the brakes. And I was like, okay, I'll bring it back and see what's going on with the check engine light. And then the next day I was driving to work. The brakes weren't working almost at all. Like, it was literally like I was flooring it. And I think it was just the physical force of my foot that brought me to a slight...
Flintstone style.
Yeah, it was like slowing me down a bit just because of the pressure from my foot. So I ended up just kind of coasting my way into work. And obviously I'm mad. I immediately called the dealership because online it said that they were open on Sunday. Turns out they're not. So I ended up... Because they weren't open, I left like 3 or 4 messages after they weren't calling me back, and they were supposed to be open, and they just got progressively worse and worse, to the point of like telling them, like, you know, if my kid was in the car, like, oh, I'll fucking find out where you live, and like starting to kind of get to like threat territory. I was trying to like
drive my car through your house.
Yeah, you want to see how these brakes work, motherfucker? So yeah, it got to a point where like I had to watch what I was saying, make sure I wasn't getting in any trouble. But they definitely called me back immediately the next day when they opened up. And it all worked out. I put the money in, got a newer vehicle, and just financed it. I figured it'd be better than spending money constantly on repairs. I'll just do payments. And so far, this car is very nice, and I'm enjoying that. So that was just the second out of the 4, I believe, problems that we had with this podcast starting up. So hopefully you people like it, because otherwise this is all for naught.
Yeah.
But the next one is actually probably the highlight. There's actually only 3 main problems. The next one is just discussing current situations, which obviously they're working out. They're just still kind of, you know, pulling things
up in the air. Things are up in the air, definitely.
But so the next one, I guess I'll just let you.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I could start it because I had a bit of a. I don't have much to say about the entire story, but I could say that one day we were at work and. Actually, you came over, and that was the day that we were looking for the microphone, wasn't it?
That was the same day, yeah.
So, actually, the car problem happened at the same time as this one. This one just feels a lot more interesting. So, we're looking for this microphone. We're talking about, we've been discussing trying to do this podcast. We're both very into it. And the next day, or later on that day, you weren't answering.
Literally 3 hours later.
Yeah.
After I left your house.
I'm sitting there trying to get a hold of him, sending him like links to couches that we're trying to get for the YouTube show that we're going to try to start up soon. And he's just not answering. I was like, that's not like Jay. Like, what's going on? And the next day he wasn't answering me at all. I'm like, at first I was just kind of like mad, like, is he like ignoring me? But then like I noticed like he's the person who hasn't changed his phone from telling you that he reads the text yet. So I was like, he's not even reading any of these. Like, what's going on? Like, this is starting to freak me out. And then there's a bunch of speculation. Turns out I guessed it right. Yeah. But this is where Jake could pick it up.
So basically, without getting in too much detail, because I'm still currently, attending court and have charges on me right now. But it stemmed from my ex-girlfriend's daughter getting in trouble, and saying that her mother threatened her with a gun that happened to be mine. And
there was actually no threat.
There was no threat. There was no gun.
Which has now been ruled.
Has been ruled. Yes, that has been.
The court has also decided that she was full of shit.
Yeah. So, her stories didn't match up with different parties involved in the court case. So, apparently she told, she got in a fight with her brother. She beat the crap out of her brother, which she does on a daily basis. And,
he's a man up.
My ex went down, broke it up. She got in more trouble, obviously, because she beat the crap out of her brother. And then she decided to go outside, call her father, and say that her mother threatened her with a gun, said she was going to kill her. So her father or stepmother, I'm not sure who called the police, but
she had a stepmother.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
I'm learning even more today.
Oh yeah, they're like the lovers of welfare and assistance, that they have more and more kids just to get more and more money.
Yeah, because I know she doesn't actually live with her dad or anything.
No, she never sees her father. But
he didn't even take her after this incident.
No,
he called the cops because he's afraid of her well-being, but can't go actually.
Exactly. Doesn't really give a crap. Just wanted to get her mother, in trouble. So so about 10 minutes after that happened, we didn't know that the police were called. We hear a bang on the door, and it's the police. And they explain how the incident was, explained to them, and I cooperated, said yes, there's a gun in the house, so they went and got the gun and
told them where it was. After that, it
wasn't
even loaded, right?
It wasn't even loaded.
What makes this even worse is like the fact that they didn't really believe your side of the story at first.
Exactly.
But if they were telling the truth and that actually happened, you guys weren't even aware that the cops were called. So
No.
why would you know to unload the gun and put it in a hidden spot again?
Exactly.
And the kids didn't even know where it was, did they?
No, they had no idea. But yeah, that's part of the story that I can't talk about because I was actually subpoenaed today to for I have to go talk to CPS or something next week about the relationship with the kids.
Yeah, they're always fun.
Yeah, ridiculous. Anyway,
I dealt with them growing up, so
the police came, they got the gun, and now I'm a Pennsylvania resident, so technically I'm not allowed to have a weapon in New York. So that's what I was.
For those of you who don't know, we live in the tri-state area. I could literally if I wanted to drive, I could be in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I could be in Pennsylvania or New York in 5 minutes, either one.
And New Jersey's about 3 minutes away.
Yeah, I mean, I could literally walk to these places in 10 minutes if I wanted. So
yeah. Anyway, they got the gun, and then they basically they handcuffed me and my my ex.
I saw your wrists; they weren't very friendly about it.
No, I was bruised and cut, and they were they were assholes. I'm not gonna lie, they were assholes, cops and detectives. I don't care if they hear this. Chances are they won't because dickheads don't usually listen to podcasts. But
well, that may not be true.
Yeah, well,
you get another subpoena tomorrow.
That's true. Be charged with more bullshit charges. But
I heard you speaking.
Yeah. We were taken down to the police station and questioned about the whole incident, and then thrown in a cell for about 24 hours. So nobody knew where I was.
Yeah, no, I know because I was trying to get a hold of you.
So everyone thought I was dead.
The speculation was that you either got hurt, and were seriously injured, or that you were in jail.
Exactly.
And me and my wife were discussing that, and me and people at work were discussing it, and this is why I said I guessed it right, because I was like, he's got to be in jail, because if he was injured or something, I think we would have seen something on the news or something like a fatal incident. I mean, otherwise, I don't know what would have happened to you to where nobody would know that you were injured.
Even my parents, they're calling my job, trying to find out where I am. Yeah, they're freaking out.
Nobody could find you, so I was like, he's probably in jail. But I wouldn't know which jail or.
So yeah,
I actually assumed it may have had something to do with the guns. And I didn't even know that was a thing that you did.
Yeah,
keeping it there. But you brought it up. I felt like it was foreshadowing in real life. We were talking about the series that we wanted to do. We wanted to do certain shots. We would have to do it in Dingman's because we wouldn't be able to take your guns into New York.
Right.
And we've discussed how you can't take it out of state bounds multiple times. And for some reason, that was what was in the back of my head. It was foreshadowing for something in the future.
Yeah. So I sat in a jail cell at a police station for over 24 hours. They didn't give me a phone call until, the sheriffs were there ready to take us to the county jail, which was great.
OCJ.
OCJ. But I made some new friends. But
they should have given you a hoodie or something.
I literally had to call my mother and tell her that.
Is it the classic thing where they don't pick up too?
Yeah,
right?
Nobody picked up. I guess she was at work or something. So left her a voicemail, which it was.
I think she was at your aunt's house.
Yeah. I felt like shit because leaving your mother a voicemail that says, "Hey mom, I'm in jail."
Especially when you always talk about your mom being like a nice church lady.
Yeah, and hey mom, my bail's $5,000.
You want to help a nigga out?
Help me? I'm scared. So yeah, I got my phone call and then we were transferred to Orange County Jail where, let me tell you, going to jail. This was my first time being arrested, back to the cop car, everything. It was my first experience with any of that crap. Yeah, let me tell you.
And you're how old again?
I'm 30 years old.
Yep.
30 years old. Never been in trouble before.
And they couldn't even take it easy.
Nope. Yeah, it's you realize how much freedom you actually have, in the real world, because when you had to strip down in front of another guy, and you gotta.
I wrestled, man. That's a daily thing for me.
Yeah, well,
I enjoy it.
I'm not very athletic.
I wasn't either. I was just there for the show.
When the guy's like, "Hey, lift your sack, bend over, spread your cheeks," it's very embarrassing. It really sucks, but thankfully,
demoralizing.
Yeah, definitely. Thankfully, my dad came and bailed me out. Which I wasn't expecting, but
the first thing I asked people at work, because they told me your dad was going to get you.
Yeah.
I was like, was you okay on the phone? Because I know you said you and your dad don't get along all the time. But even you said your dad, everyone at work,
he's genuinely worried.
Yeah, they said he was just happy that you weren't dead. So
yeah.
Yeah.
But now I got out of jail. So now I'm facing all these charges, and got to keep going back and forth to court for a few months and see how this pans out. Hopefully
it's all looking good though.
Hopefully, everything works out the way my lawyer says, and stuff gets dropped down to where I won't have to serve any jail time, because that will put a big damper on this podcast, because I'm pretty sure
they don't let you do this in jail.
Yeah, and I don't think...
There'd be a lot of background noise.
I really don't think I could fit this microphone up my ass to sneak it in.
Now, did you tell you about like putting stuff in a balloon and swallowing it?
That's
to get
true.
It in?
I learned things.
Get into that real quick.
I learned some things. Oh, well, this he was a
green balloons, red balloons.
Yeah, he was a seasoned veteran. He would, if he knew he was going to, like, if he got out on bail and knew court case was coming up.
Matter of fact, you keep going with this. I'm going to go get some scotch.
All right. So... this guy, he tells me, I forget his name. Not that it matters, but...
yeah, I probably shouldn't say it anyway.
Yeah, he's in jail right now, actually. He didn't get out. Yeah, basically he told me, he found out, like, if he broke probation, got out on bail, he knew he was going back, he would take balloons and fill them with various substances, I should say, like marijuana or tobacco for cigarettes. Even the rolling papers he would put into balloons, which is insane to me, because how the hell do you fit that into balloons? And he would color code them. So green would be marijuana, red would be tobacco or rolling papers, and he actually told me a few times he snuck a Percocet in, and he would use them to get commissary from people, candy bars, tuna fish, anything you could buy from the commissary at the prison. Basically, he told me, like, I'm a drug dealer in prison. I can get you anything you want. If you get locked up, just come find me wherever you are. I was like, yeah, buddy, I really don't want to be locked up. But it was also insane because, I'm a pretty mellow guy, chill most of the time. And, those guys didn't believe me that it was my first time in jail. They thought, like, I'd been in here a couple times, because I was just kind of like, inside I was scared because, I've never been in jail before. But, everybody I was in the holding cell with, they were pretty cool. It's not, like they portray, obviously it's not like, a federal prison. It's just a county jail. So people in there aren't like, they're accused of like crazy crimes, but like where I was, it was just like everybody that was in the jail that day. So there's probably like 15 or 20 of us there. But yeah, they couldn't believe that was my first time in jail. Another funny thing is, apparently these guys are so hard up. My ex was there, and we were in the same area getting processed, and they were just making all these crazy comments like, yo, look at the cake on that one. Oh my God, and shit like that. And I'm like, trying not to get offended, but she found it pretty funny when I told her about it. But yeah, as far as that goes, right now, hopefully nothing else bad happens so we can continue with this podcast, because, like I said, I can't fit this thing on my ass to get it in there. I'm pretty sure a laptop's not going to get in there
though. It's a good shape for it.
If you're a seasoned vet at like shoving stuff up your ass,
well, I don't know you
a
that
little
well.
bit of lube maybe.
By the way, I'm back. So turns out I went to go grab Jack instead of scotch, and I noticed that I didn't know it, but my wife got soda, which we don't usually have in this house. And I was like, I'm going to make a Jack and Coke. So
yeah, there you go.
Now I'm on that level, so.
So yeah, I have to drive still, so I can't really get on that level today. But one of these days, we'll have to do a nice drunken podcast or something.
Yeah, well, if everything goes according to plan, we should have our YouTube show up and going in hopefully a week or so.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to shoot that in a couple days, actually. And if that goes well, there's going to be quite a bit of drinking on that show. And that's actually going to be at your house, so, yeah. I mean, if you do get drunk, you can just stay home.
Exactly.
And I'll have to make my wife come get me or something, I don't know. Or I'll just endanger everyone. I'm kind of selfish that way.
Yeah, it's a pretty long walk, so...
Don't actually take that if there's an officer listening. That was a lie. I'm a good Samaritan. So yeah, you talk about the red and the green. You talk about the coffee incident.
Oh no, the coffee incident. I forgot. Apparently, he would trade he'd ask people for coffee to try to get to shit out the balloons. Because obviously, I just don't know how you could pick through your own shit to try to get this stuff, and that people would want it after it's been
Especially because don't you share a cell usually with at least one other person?
Yeah, it's usually two people. There's two bunks in there. So I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to always be in there at the same time. Like, you can choose to go back, like, during, like, rec
That's
hour
true,
and
because
stuff.
the way they do it, it's like a dormitory. It's like 30,
open mess
it's
for
like
them,
30
like 2 hours.
cells, and then actually they bring your trays into you. There's no cafeteria or anything like that.
Really?
Yeah. So you're in there. Like
You're in the shit.
You're in there. Like, you get out to shower and
That's almost
I think
like
you get special privileges if you're good, you know.
you gotta be allowed to go out in like a yard and stuff.
I don't know. I really don't know. I
don't know how
I didn't
OTJ
get
work,
farther
but
than booking.
It's not like
so.
it's not like a max security prison.
Oh,
like,
no.
So I couldn't imagine. It's actually just a jail. So there's actually no felons in there except for people waiting trial.
Waiting trial. That's it. Like, if you're a felon, then you're going to,
something else.
like
A 2 year.
Rikers or
Yeah. That's if you're a bad felon, or
Yeah,
Sing
that's-
Sing if you're a really
that's
bad
if you're
felon.
like a gang member or something like that.
Yeah. Some fun stuff though. Good times in those prisons. But
If you like it in your butt. Maybe.
well, no, you tell me.
I didn't get that far.
Jay the
And if I did, I
jailbird.
wouldn't be talking about it.
I don't want to talk about wrestling anymore.
What happens in prison stays in prison.
I can't ever get it out. But yeah, so that's like that's I mean, as long as you covered everything in my absence, that's everything that that happened leading up to this first episode that we've been trying to do for about a month now because of all this stuff. So hopefully you all enjoy it, like we're hoping. Like I said, we have a YouTube show that we plan on doing soon, which it's gonna be more of like a talk show style thing, and we're gonna try to do some fun little things here and there, and maybe go and interview certain people, stuff like that. So be sure to check that out. We'll definitely tell you like the links and stuff to the YouTube page when we get that up and going. We'll just make sure we have everything set up before we get along to that. So, is there anything else we really want to talk about? Well, what's going on now? Like currently in our lives, that's well, I mean, like we're getting like the YouTube thing going. We have like the room cleared out to do it, like the
Trying to get everything
studio almost set up.
Acquire the things we need to actually like.
You got the camera, you got a computer, hopefully that's good enough.
We got a room, just gotta clean it out,
Doing stuff on a budget makes life hard too.
It's
So for those of you
rough.
out there who also want to do something like this, if you enjoy what we're doing at least slightly, know that you can at least get to this point on a very low budget.
Yeah.
Because we're scraping by for these.
Yeah,
for this
especially if you
equipment.
have multiple people and you can split up the cost of things.
It definitely makes it a lot easier. Like, because when we looked at the one, like when we looked at the mic, my wife was like, "It's so expensive." I was like, "Well, one, for a microphone, that's not very expensive. Two, which for again, this microphone, if you like the quality and everything, it's really affordable and definitely the best one on the market as far as I've read up on and personally used. So
And it looks sexy as
it
hell.
does look pretty good.
I want to touch it right now.
Well, don't, because it'll mess up the sound.
That's
but
true.
You'll have plenty of time to touch it in prison when you're squeezing it out. If you just take the base separate, I think it'll be easier.
True.
It's just like a big pill at that point.
Yeah, I have to take lessons from somebody.
Have a poop filter instead of a pop filter.
Terrible.
Not terrible enough.
No.
So, other than that, we're just trying to basically work out our schedules between work and everything. So hopefully, like I said, next week we'll get some more stuff up and going and get all that going. We're going to also have some more podcasts coming up. We're going to be interviewing my friend RJ soon about some fun topics. That way it's not just, us discussing how we got to this point. We actually will have episodes coming up shortly with actual themes. So probably in a few days after this is posted, maybe at the most like a week after this is posted, you'll get one of them up as well. So if you like it, I guess just, keep following us and listening to us. You can find us on Facebook at PH Productions. And, yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say. I don't know.
Yeah, if you do end up following us on Facebook or anything, write on our wall like any suggestions for a show topic, anything that interests you, any
that's a good
suggestions for the show, because we're pretty much open to anything.
Yeah, we're just trying to make it a nice open show. That way, it kind of like anybody could listen to it and enjoy what we talk about, hopefully. I was trying to make a link for it, but for some reason, every time I typed in just PH Productions as the Facebook link, it said I was using characters that aren't allowed, but those are just, that it's just letters in the alphabet. So I don't understand what the issue was. I had to try it again. So at the moment, you just have to type in PH Productions, and hopefully you'll find it. Hopefully we'll get like a better link up going, and I'll be able to post the links and stuff in the description of the podcast episode and all that. So again, I hope you guys enjoy it, and let us know what you think. Leave us some suggestions, and that's all. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, word of advice: don't go to prison.
Oh yeah,
because
makes podcasts difficult.
It does, and it's just not fun.
No. All right, I guess that's JMP signing off. See you.
Peace.